Hello and welcome. This video is brought to you by thestreamingadvisor.com. Tailor your entertainment with streaming. Recently, there was reports again that Paramount Plus and Peacock may one day be combined into one app in the United States. This is something that is already out there in Europe, and it helps them compete with some of the bigger brands like Netflix and Disney Plus. Both of those brands have a lot more subscribers than either one of these apps individually. In the case of Netflix, it's more than them combined. But what would be on such an app? We're going to take a look at the two different services and talk about what makes them kind of stand out or blend in as far as the way things work. And the big deal with Paramount Plus is this is everything that Paramount owns. Paramount owns CBS. It owns Viacom, which is all of these cable channels like the Smithsonian Network and BET and Nickelodeon. Everything that isn't CBS or Showtime in this list. It also includes Showtime. They do own Showtime, so we're talking CBS Sports. We're talking TV shows, from out the history of television. We're talking about TV shows from all of these cable networks. MTV, Nickelodeon. So you've got children's television stuff. You've got a lot of pop culture things. MTV actually really started the reality show business with things like The Road Rules and Real World. But you've got these big libraries of content from all of the different brands that you can bounce through, brand specifically. And of course, later on we'll show you how they have just, TV shows and movies. And in those cases, it's more mixed together. But they're pretty extensive. As you see, you got, Nick Jr., 90s Nicks. You got things that are just specific to TV shows. But there's not a lot that you can miss out on as far as Nickelodeon content in the Nickelodeon section, aside from things that weren't really Nickelodeon shows. Back in the 80s, when it first started up, there was a lot of content that came from other studios that they licensed. So you're not going to find that. In general, though, this is a really big collection of stuff from multiple popular networks. CBS, of course, is probably the most popular one. It's where you're going to find your crime shows and the classics like Cheers and things like that. But what this does is it puts so much content all together. Of course, you're probably thinking, well, isn't that what these modern streaming services do? And the answer is yes. This is just Paramount's version of this. It started off much more limited with just CBS. It was CBS All Access with everything from CBS. But it grew quite a bit when it merged back with Paramount and Viacom. You'll notice the movie section is lots and lots of content. A lot of it comes from, of course, Paramount's main studio. Anything that you can find on Showtime is available as long as you have signed up for the Showtime / Paramount Plus combo pack there. But when you get all of the movies, you're going to find everything from those main premium channels to also just things like things that showed up on VH1 or MTV original movies, anything like that, Nickelodeon original movies, and so on and so forth. You see that there's tons and tons of genres listed. Live TV, we're not going to bounce into that right now. That's just live versions of programming that they have. It's called curated television. Now, sports, of course, is another big draw on these streaming services, and CBS offers some major ones. For instance, Big Ten football, as you see during the fall. They have NFL football, which you get a feed of the CBS live feed of the games coming on Sunday afternoon. They've got a major investment in soccer, or of course, Europeans would say football, right? But in general, there's a lot of soccer, and there's a smattering of some other things available as well. You see that they have a live and upcoming section, and then break things down into leagues and specific topics. there's really not another sports option out there like ESPN. So if you don't have ESPN, you know you're going to be missing out on a lot. But I tell you what, if you're a soccer fan, this combination here might be a really great thing for you. Your CBS local live news is only local if these happen to be the cities that you live in. It doesn't necessarily include every city in the whole country or anything like that. Its news section also includes, though, like replays of the nightly news from the night before and a couple of nights past, as well as a section where you can catch all of their Sunday talk shows and things like that, 60 Minutes and so on. Now, jumping into Peacock, you'll see a somewhat similar thing, and it's not surprised because Peacock, like Paramount Plus, is owned by Comcast, which then owns lots of different TV networks, and they launched an app that combined content from lots of different places into one funnel, while also adding other partners like the WWE and Hallmark. It also has a live channel section that we're also not going to pop into. If you're wondering why, it's because rights issues with YouTube are just kind of hard to navigate, and I just don't want to go there. Your home screen breaks down into a lot of different options, and you end up at the featured brands area, and it kind of gives you a feel for the amount of different things that are offered through Peacock, including this Big Ten content. NFL, what you see with NFL, what you're going to get from that is the Sunday night NFL game on NBC. WWE is not sports, but it is very entertaining and very physical. Its WWE library is extensive. It's almost a history book for wrestling, with all the archives of past major events. Like if you think of something like WrestleMania, you can be able to find that and all kinds of other things, because there's tons and tons and tons of different things on there from their archives and other wrestling promotional archives that they own now. The Focus Pictures section is kind of more of an art house films. This isn't the popcorn, funny movies and things like that. These are more thought-provoking, but some of them are really excellent. I've seen some of them, aside from Peacock in general. The Hallmark section is a real coup because, for instance, Peacock right now is $4.99 and you get Hallmark. They have 3 live Hallmark channels and a hub of movies just so that you can go in and you can watch all of your Christmas romances that your heart can desire. Now, the question is with all of this, though, if these 2 services are put together, will everything be brought over, or will something get left out? What will it cost? Will it cost something along the lines of what you would pay for both of them? Or are they going to drop it down to like $7.50 and you get both things? Are they going to be able to leverage the amount of advertising that they get from 2 bases of customers, or are a lot of their customers the same people? There's a whole lot that goes into how things will work if these 2 apps combine. I might have mentioned earlier, they do this in Europe. There is a Paramount/Peacock kind of amalgamation that you can find in European countries. But the thing about over there is there isn't already a CBS and NBC regular network, that you can access all the time in multiple places the way that you can in the US. So putting it all together in one app makes a lot of sense over there because it becomes an easy portal for the content. Will it work here? I don't know. Will it get regulatory approval? I don't know. It all depends on who's in and how they feel about harnessing that much content. The fact that Warner Brothers and Discovery were able to tag up and become Warner Brothers Discovery tells me that the administration might not be completely against something like this, but will it be worth it to you? And that is the big question, because I think a lot of times people do things in technology because they can and not because they should or because it would benefit the public. Of course, what they're trying to benefit is the shareholders, But if you don't get something that people want, the shareholders aren't going to make a dime, right? They're going to lose money. If they can keep the price low and combine all of their sports assets and all of their entertainment assets, including Showtime and Universal's movies and Paramount's movies and all of those TV shows from, everything from NBC and the USA Network and the Sci-Fi Channel and so on and so forth. If they can put all of that together into one app without it being too expensive, it's got a real lot of potential. It really does. It can compete right there with any of the best. But I just wouldn't count on it because this isn't the first or second time this kind of conversation has been had. That's that. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you learned something. Like I said, don't be looking for this anytime soon. We'll cover it on the website as far as, what's happening with this discussion. If it goes nowhere, it goes nowhere. If they announce, we will have coverage. As always, I'm Ryan Downey, the Streaming Advisor. Please like and subscribe, of course. Share this video with your friends if they think it would be interesting. And as always, stream on, my friends.